Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Kaizer Chiefs lose against Sundowns 1-0 again. Sundowns take 6 points from Kaizer Chiefs, and I'm going to be honest. I am not going to defend Nabi. We cannot go into each and every game and be telling us when we play Pirates, we played well. When we play Sundowns, we played. When we lost 2-1 against Sundowns, what was the outcome of that game? All of us were saying we played well. Pirates, you beat us 1-0, we played well. Sundowns beat us 1-0, we played well. It's time we accept. You know what's the scary part about this whole thing? The commentators were telling us the stats that Nabi has this season versus what Molefi Ntseki and our Kevin Johnson's accumulated. Our Kevin Johnson and Molefi Ntseki have more points last season at this stage than Nabi. This is in essence what is being said, is that Chiefs is on in the direction to finish number 10 again. We are a team that's going to finish number 10 with the players that we have in our team. You know what? I am not saying we must finish number 1, number 2, even number 3. I am not even expecting number 3. Number 4 is something. Number 4 and 5 are two positions that I think were very, very possible. But the way we're going, and I know a lot of you, but before I get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. I know a lot of you are going to say quality. You know what? If we want to speak the quality game, and make quality an excuse in each and every season, each and every game, then let's accept that we will never beat Sundowns. We will never beat Mamelodi Sundowns if we are going to come onto all platforms and say quality. Why do I say that? Because Sundowns will always have better quality than us. Meaning that you have to find a way with the teams, the players you have, to beat Mamelodi Sundowns. You have to find a way to beat the smaller teams that don't even have your budget. I can tell you right now, Sikukune and them don't have the budget that Chiefs have, but they are making a plan. Stellenbosch is one that probably does have the budget, so we can't even count them. But a lot of the teams don't have the budget. These guys are just playing their careers out. There are players, I'm sure, there are teams that a player averages maybe at their highest earning player, maybe is earning 50K or 60 at most, nothing beyond 100K. When you check Chiefs billing, I'm sure almost all our players earn close to that 100K and above. We know there are players above. There's maybe in a squad of 30 players, Chiefs will have about 15 who earning above 100. Even 15 is probably small, maybe 20. But anyway, let me chat about the game. The reason why you guys were seeing that I'm frustrated about this game is Sundowns was so bad. Sundowns was so bad. You can say whatever you want. Ribeiro scored a spectacular goal. But let me ask you a question. Did Mdu Shabalala not have that exact chance? Did Dupree not have a one-on-one and have failed to make a first touch? And then the ball got away from him. Did Dupree not have a header and fail to hit the target? Let me sum up Chiefs' game today. Sundowns had one quality chance. And a lot of you are going to say I must add the Tebogo Mokoena goal where Vuma saved. No, that is a Vuma error. Vuma did the same mistake he did against SuperSport, where you save the ball into the path of the opposition. Vuma makes that exact same position. So that is Vuma's assist. I'm talking about the chances that Sundowns really created for themselves. And that's the first goal. And why I'm complaining about this is because Mdu Shabalala had that exact same chance. So this game was not even about this team played better than the other team. No, it's about this team has better quality than this team. And this team, the quality, put the ball in the back of the net. What's the funny thing? Chiefs is getting a taste of its own medicine. In all years, when Chiefs was dominant, winning a cup almost every season, this is how a lot of smaller teams felt against Chiefs. A lot of smaller teams felt like this against Chiefs because Chiefs always bought the quality players of the league and in Africa. Then Chiefs A team would be playing so well against Chiefs. Then a player like Umbesuma would come last minute and slot the ball home. A player like Shuz Mushwe would come in and score. A player like Sean Bartlett, Simpia Shabalala, all of these players would find a way to unlock a game that they're not dominating. And that is what's happening. Sundowns is using the Chiefs formula, by quality players. It's not really using the formula of the quality youngsters, but they're using the thing of buying quality, always having quality. And when you have quality, you can have a bad game, but you can still win that game. The Sundowns I saw today is not dominant, but the one thing I will say about the Sundowns I saw today is the kind of Sundowns that can win the Champions League. You know, the Sundowns that I watched today is the kind of Sundowns that can win Champions League. Because the scary part about Champions League is that you will often find the team that is the best in the Champions League isn't always the team that's going to win. Al Ahly was getting tumbled by Sundowns last season, but Al Ahly won the Champions League. You know, it's always that kind of feeling. The best teams don't often win, and it's that team that everyone knows has the quality, but it's just beating people. And people are like, how is this team winning? And then it gets to the final and wins. But anyway, I wanna highlight this about the game. Mdu Shabalala's chance on goal. Mdu Shabalala, Frosler passed it. If you actually play that chance that Frosler gave Mdu Shabalala, you'll realize that's the exact same chance that Reyners gave Ribeiro. What did Ribeiro do? Ribeiro took a touch, took a shot. Mdu took a shot same time with no balance. So Mdu lacks quality compared to Ribeiro. Number one, those are the things that were bad. How did Sundowns score the goal? The goal, you know what's a funny thing about the goal? Chiefs had planned for this, but in the moment they had a moment of lapse is when Sundowns capitalized, because that chance that Sundowns scored, they had been trying it the whole game. They have been trying to find Reyners. Oftentimes there was offside. Peter Shalulile, there were times there was offside, or when you got the ball you couldn't do anything with it. And they kept trying, and eventually they got it. But how that goal actually was scored is because of Frosler, right? Frosler, I'm not going to blame, when I say Frosler, I'm not going to be blaming Frosler. But what happens is, the moment Frosler rushed to Tiwani, he broke the formation of Chiefs. But a lot of you are going to blame Frosler, but you have to take it even further back. The person who is to blame from the pressing side is Mdu Shabalala. Mdu Shabalala was meant to press Kaizer. The person who passed Tawana, I think it's Suarez, that person found it easy to pass Tawane because Mdu didn't press Tawane, and it forced Lilepo to be caught a bit of in no man's land, because Lilepo was meant to be the player who is going to eventually be covering the pass to Tiwani. But because Lilepo tried to press Suarez, he opened the gap because Mdu was meant to be the one pressing. If Mdu pressed, it was going to make Suarez and them doubt passing T1. They were probably even going to go back to Jody February. But that little moment where they failed to press is the moment these guys opened that space for Tiwani, and Tiwani was open, and that's what Frosler saw. Frosler was like, I need to stop this guy. He has too much space. But the moment Frosler broke rank, it opened a gap between Miguel and our centre backs, and that is where we were punished because Miguel drifted. Dudley ended up having to take up that role. Dudley was late because Reyners obviously is fast, and then the second phase of this is that Abo Martin them are sleeping because Thabo Cele, if Thabo Cele picked up what Ribeiro was doing, Thabo Cele was meant to run in front of Ribeiro, but Thabo Cele was late. Matt was late. I'm not gonna blame Matt, but let's just say if our two center mids were awake, it was going to be better. And this is why when I was doing my my lineup yesterday, I said it's important not to play a double pivot. A double pivot is not a good thing. There has to be a 6 because of Ribeiro. Ribeiro is the late joining 10. If the late joining 10 finds his way in between the two eights that are in front of him, meaning that Matt and Tele, there has to be someone who is going to track Ribeiro. But no one was tracking Ribeiro. We were starving Ribeiro. We weren't tracking Ribeiro. What does that mean? The ball was failing to find Ribeiro. Ribeiro was getting frustrated because we were blocking him from getting the ball because of our formation, but we weren't necessarily tracking him. Because whenever he did get the ball, he was causing problems. But anyway, this game for me was very frustrating. I am not going to come here and say, hey, Chiefs played. It cannot be our story. This cannot be the story of Kaizer Chiefs. The story of Kaizer Chiefs where we say we played. You know, the stats of Chiefs are so terrible to even watch. I think Chiefs now has won 7 games and we've lost 9 games. You know, out of the 19 games that we've played, 19 games, we have lost 9 of the 19. We've lost to Sundowns twice. We've lost to SuperSport twice. And we've lost to Pirates. So we've lost against those five teams. We couldn't pick up points against those teams that are considered the more, let's say, more well-known or more established teams. Meaning that Nabi is struggling against big teams. Nabi is really, really struggling against teams that are playing well. I don't know why we always get the better of Stellenbosch, but from what I'm getting is that Nabi is struggling against the big teams. You know, we struggle against these teams that are way more established, way more built, and it's sad to see. I won't lie to you, it's sad to see. But other than that, if we think about how a lot of things turned out, is that Chiefs has, I think when I was looking at the ratings, if it's still like this, Chiefs have scored 21 goals this season and they've conceded 24. The whole purpose of bringing Nabi in this season was, and this was me, when I heard about Nabi as a coach, right? I heard that his teams tend to score close to 50 to 60 goals a season because they are all about goals. 50 to 60 goals in a season. Nabi, I think in the past 3 seasons with his teams that he's coached, those teams have almost always clocked 60 goals. But against Chiefs, we are past the halfway line. We almost left with about 10 games. Nabi has only managed to score 21 goals. And because there's the last few games, that means that Nabi will technically finish the season around 30, maybe 30 goals. Depending on if we do have a good run towards the end, maybe at most 40. But I don't see how we're going to score 40 goals. Based on what I saw today, Sundowns was terrible at the back. I don't know what more I can say. The chances that Dupree had, the chances that Shabalala had, these chances were not on goal. I didn't get a look at Modi's chance in the box where he was crying that they kicked him. So it wasn't replayed. So we didn't really see another angle. So I don't know if it was a foul. They didn't actually show that moment again. So I don't know. But Modi also, he did well. Modi did well when he got the chances, but yeah. The one player I want to talk about today, and you know what? Say what you will about Dupree, we could see he was struggling in this game. Match fitness. But sometimes, you know what? I can understand match fitness and all of those things, but I always say from a striker, you can even have the worst kind of shooting and stuff like that, but just hit the target. Why I say hit the target is because you don't know what the keeper is going to do. The keeper may fumble and then give you a second chance. But if you're failing to hit the target, then I don't know what I can say. Because Jody February we saw was struggling against Sikukune. But in this game, I don't think he even experienced a shot on target that was challenging. A lot of them were those rolling to him and he just picks it up. So imagine if we did actually shoot again. So basically, Chiefs was so bad today in attack that Sundowns could have made Jody February sit bench and put an outfield player like Abo Morena, and still Chiefs would not have scored because they couldn't hit the ball on target. But anyway, defense. Another thing. Two things I picked up about two players, in this game. Maybe let me actually add three. I'll start with the third one. Thabo Cele is a boss, but he attracts yellow cards. But Thabo Cele is a boss and he needs a midfielder that's going to complement him. Right now, I don't think the midfielders we currently have at Chiefs complement Thabo Cele. We need to get another one. I've heard people say there's Pepelo, Sithole is linked to Chiefs, etc. I don't think he's the player we honestly need Faisal Salum. That is the only player that can really do well. Yes, if they have the budget to sign Sithole, sign him, bring him, all the better. But we need that Faisal Salum guy, a guy who can carry the midfield. The second thing is, this is the biggest disappointment for me, is Lollipop. Lollipop has very good touches, right? But I want to be honest about something. Lollipop does not really put his stamp on games. Yes, in previous games he has scored, but I'm struggling to see him really, today he lacked being a threat. And especially, and he did it, and a lot of people won't get me when I say this, but I'm saying he has good moments, but it's not really throughout the game. When I say that, I'm like, in the first half, he had maybe 2 good moments in the game, but after that, he no longer existed in the game. He looked like he was tired. He looked like his legs were heavy. I couldn't really tell what was happening, but it was a lot. I think I was even seeing on, people were saying, why is Lollipop still on the field? Because he's no longer offering anything. And I say this because Dupree is not match fit, but Dupree was doing his best. He was making late runs. He was doing things. Modi, as bad as in terms of quality he was today, because he just was not doing certain things right, but he was giving his best. There are players, and Dushabalala was giving his best, dribbling players and, taking shots. Like, you could see the effort of these guys, but the game was just beyond them. But with Lollipop, it's like he just didn't exist in the game past those first 2 chances that he tried to create in the first half. But he just has no impact. I always say this, I'm like, the one thing about Lollipop for me is I need him to find a way to get closer to the box. Because when he's so far from the box, we don't really see his impact. He disappears. He sits so far from the box, but we know that he's a threat in the box. So he needs to find ways to make late runs, overlapping. They need to find a way to get him into threatening areas, because right now he's always in areas that don't threat, and then he wants to make plays where he's going to run into threatening areas. But not every game is going to be like that. The next player that I want to talk about is Miguel. As good as Miguel, we are seeing he has leadership qualities, he has arrogance, etc. I picked up something about Miguel today, and it scared me a little, especially with what we want to see from Chiefs. Miguel looked scared today. Miguel looked shaky. He looked scared. He didn't know what he was doing. He was passing the ball to Sundowns in situations where he was not even under pressure. So with the smaller teams, Miguel does these things like so easily. But today he just looked nervous. He looked shaky. And I was like, Miguel, why are you the only player who is looking the most shaky? Like, I expect this from, Frosler looked decent. Dove looked decent. But Miguel was shaky. I don't get it. And yeah, well done to Dove. He held down the left back position. I hope he stays injury free. He held back the left back position, and I hope Solomons continues to be healthy. Those are the 2 people I wanted to highlight. Dove stay healthy, Solomons stay healthy. But the goals, you see, you hate Chiefs. Say what you want about Kaizer Chiefs fans, But we did highlight one thing when the the season's second half of the season was starting. We said we need a striker. We said we need a scoring striker. And yes, we see the qualities that Morris has, but it's not to put the ball in the net. And that is now where we're at. We are struggling with that now. That exact reason is the reason we are struggling. We just don't have someone who naturally puts the ball in the net. And that is where it's very difficult for us. Meaning that we've prioritized so many positions, but at the same time, it feels like nothing has been fixed. If we have to be honest, over the last two transfer windows, it doesn't feel like a lot of things have been fixed. Why? Goalkeeping department, we signed a keeper, we are still shaky. We signed 2 left backs, we are still shaky at left back. We needed an injured Dove to come and a centre back to cover those positions. Defensive, in the midfield, we still haven't found a partner for Kaizer. So that still goes unresolved. Goals, we signed Tashik Morris. Still, it doesn't solve our problems. Creativity, we've been relying on Modi, and it's still not solving our problem. Yes, we signed Serino, but Serino has barely been available, so we can't really rely on him. It's been tough.